cut my hours to cover her tracks, but I ended her career instead. When I was fresh out of high school, I landed a job at a pet store to help pay my way through college. I worked in the department that handled the fish, reptiles, and birds. It was a fun gig, messy, smelly, but fun. Our store manager, Kurt, was one of those old school types who believed in working hard and going home. He was fair, direct, and respected by everyone. Unfortunately, my immediate supervisor, Stephanie, was the exact opposite. Stephanie was the kind of manager who made you dread your shift. She had a loud voice, a bad attitude, and an ego that could barely fit through the door. We clashed right from the start. She preferred dealing with fish, while I was more into reptiles. When she realized I knew more about snakes and enclosures than she did, her pride couldn't handle it. From then on, I became her favorite target. She'd assign me the worst chores, like scrubbing the goldfish tanks every single day, while the others got to handle sales. She'd throw little insults my way too, telling me things like, "You're the weak link in this department." After a year of this nonsense, I noticed my hours getting cut. I asked Kurt what was going on, and he said our department had lost too much money between poor sales and broken merchandise. It didn't sit right with me. We were busy, and I rarely saw real broken items. But since everyone's hours were being reduced, I didn't question it much at the time. Around that same period, a few of us started noticing that Stephanie was suddenly way more helpful with certain customers. She'd drop everything to personally assist them, while sending the rest of us off to clean or restock. One night, a customer mentioned how sweet Stephanie was for selling them some mice for their snake. That's when it clicked. Our store didn't sell live mice, and breeding animals for sale went against company policy. It turned out Stephanie had been breeding her own animals, mice, turtles, even dogs, and selling them privately to customers she met at the store. She was using her job as a front for her little side business. That explained a lot, but something still didn't add up. If she was making money on the side, why was the department losing so much? Then one evening, I caught on to something else. I watched her follow one of her special customers around, helping them pick out a cart full of expensive aquarium decorations and lighting equipment. She even insisted on checking them out herself, which she never did for regular customers. I quietly wrote down every item she grabbed and the time they went to the register. The next day, I spoke with a few cashiers and asked if they'd ever noticed Stephanie acting weird during checkouts. They all said yes. She only rang up certain people and often applied heavy discounts. Some suspected she was scanning only part of the order or using coupons that weren't valid. That was enough for me to take everything I'd found straight to Kurt. I handed him the list of items and the timestamp. "If you check the transaction from register 2 around this time," I said, "you'll probably find something strange. Every item on this list should be there." Kurt raised an eyebrow, thanked me, and said he'd look into it. A couple of weeks later, I was at work when I saw Kurt standing by the entrance, watching the door closely. Right on cue, Stephanie walked in for her shift. Kurt called her to his office immediately, and waiting inside was someone from corporate. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I had a good idea. Later that day, I learned what happened. Kurt had checked the transaction I mentioned. It was missing half the items on my list, but every item that was there matched perfectly. That was enough for him to start monitoring her transactions more closely. Over the next few weeks, they caught her red-handed. She was scanning only every other item, giving away hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise to her chosen customers. When they tallied it all up, Stephanie had stolen over $3,500 in products. Even worse, they found she'd been signing off fake, broken merchandise reports to hide the missing inventory. The amount of damaged aquarium supplies under her name was 10 times higher than normal. That day, when she walked in, Kurt and the regional manager confronted her with everything. She didn't get the chance to talk her way out of it. Corporate had already prepared her termination papers and arranged for authorities to escort her out of the store. All the employees gathered at the front as she was walked out. You could have heard a pin drop. Stephanie looked around, red-faced and furious. Her eyes met mine for a second, and I couldn't resist giving her a quick wink. That was the moment it hit me. I didn't just survive her nonsense. I ended it.